Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome to Flathead Field in beautiful northwest Montana. My name is Scott Gladstone. I'm so excited to bring you tonight's contest between the 15 and 27 Glacier Range Riders and the 22 and 19 Billings Mustangs. We are about 10 minutes from being underway here at Flathead Field. My name is Scott Gladstone, and I'm going to break down last night and give you a little preview into tonight's matchup. But first, let's do what I just said. Talk about last night. The Glacier Range Riders mounted their fifth come-from-behind victory in franchise history last night. They fell behind early, but it was Dean Miller hitting two bombs to overcome the two-run deficit. They ended up winning 3-2. A bullpen day, fairly intimidating for the Range Riders and their staff, especially just the way things have been going. When you look at how the bullpen has performed, but Kevin Kyle, man, he stepped out and set a good tone early. The page was flipped to a myriad of other pitchers, and they kept it close. 2 runs. 2-0. And then Dean Miller happened. Brody Wofford worked a full count walk. He got on first with 2 outs, and then boomstick lasered over the right field fence from Dean Miller. 2 innings later, he would get his chance to win it in the bottom of the ninth when he hit not a similar home run, as it was a high arching ball that just topped over the 380 sign right next to the Budweiser sign in right center field, but it had just enough juice on it to carry it. That was the contest. 3-2. The man coming on to get the save was Justin Coleman. He allowed a leadoff base hit, but then 3 strikeouts looking that were disagreed upon by the batters for the Billings Mustangs. But the home plate umpire did not care very much, as he just worked right through it. Let's talk a little bit about the starting lineups today. First of all, we'll go over Billings real quick. Garcia leads off rather than batting in the 3-hole. A little bit of a wiggle and a change from Jim Riggleman. Taylor, the usual leadoff man, bats second. Klein bats third. Raper fourth. Wirtz fifth. And Nagel sixth. In the bottom 3 is Barth Pereira, the catcher, and Dennison, the shortstop. The Glacier Range Riders starting lineup is McConnell, Cash, Linscott, the first 3. The powerful center of the lineup is Wofford, Miller, and Morris. Mazzone, Williams, and Broussard round out the bottom 3. Austin Edwards is the man on the bump for the Glacier Range Riders, and the man on the bump for Billings, a guy that's been in and out of being a starter for the Billings Mustangs ever since being the opening day starter in Missoula on May 25th for the Mustangs. It's Kelvin Pilot. We're going to get into his journey as a baseball player, but not just that. He is a freak athlete all the way around, and starts with his 6'6" frame. And like I said, we'll talk about him when he takes the mound in the bottom of the first. As Dean Miller was just announced in the starting lineup here, and a little extra ovation for Morris. Around the Pioneer League tonight, what is the situation? Well, the Missoula Paddleheads, same goal as last night. Win, and they're in. They make the playoffs before the half is completed. They have a 5-game lead on Missoula. They have a 5-game lead on Great Falls. They are Missoula. Billings is in third. Right now they're just trying to bolster their overall record. They're just a half game ahead of the Idaho Falls Truckers, who lost to cross-state rival Boise last night. And the Glacier Range Riders are in 5th place in the North Division. Look at the South real quick. It's Ogden, Grand Junction, Boise, Northern Colorado, and Rocky Mountain. We're about ready for the national anthem here, so don't go anywhere. Right after our colors, we'll be back to bring you some Wednesday night baseball. We are back here in beautiful northwestern Montana today. Going to the Sun Road opens in Glacier National Park. I've already mentioned the Big Sky Music Festival last night, the night before. I mentioned that is going on over the weekend. It is going to be hustling and bustling, and the ballpark is no different. We are expecting possibly close to record crowds here in a weekend that is going to be beautiful. The Billings Mustangs are not wearing their black unis today. They're wearing the red uniforms, white lettering with Mustangs written across the front, gray pants. And on the other side, it's the Glacier Range Riders in their home whites yet again. Range Riders in green across the front, red numbering on the front, and green lettering on the back. Justin Mazzone is the catcher, finishing the final warm-up pitches from Austin Edwards. I'll tell you a little bit about Edwards thus far this season. He has been a solid starter, but he has yet to have that really memorable kind of staple-it-in performance. He has not had that marquee performance yet in his professional career. He has just recently graduated from Lenoir-Rhyne, where he spent his final collegiate career after spending the majority of it at Western Illinois after transferring from JUCO, where he played his first seasons at Ellsworth College in Iowa Falls, Iowa. He is from Iowa. Is Austin Edwards. He's from Huxley. This season for Austin Edwards, an 0-3 record, an 8.25 ERA. This is his sixth start. 24 innings pitched for him. He has 18 strikeouts to 18 walks. Where he's been hit is just the opposing batting average against him, 327 batters are hitting, and he does have 7 wild pitches this year, which has burnt him. But the tall right-hander out of Iowa will fire his final warm-up pitch. The leadoff man, unique to be leading off in this game, but Riggleman trying to mix up the lineup after the 2 losses that they had in the previous games. And it's Jalen Garcia that leads it off. They put their number 3 batter at the top of the lineup. He's got plenty of speed to be a leadoff guy. And we are just about ready to get underway as Edwards gets the sign, and fires pitch number 1, swung on, out to right field. Linscott dives, and it gets by him. It's going to be at least 2 bases for Jalen Garcia, but he'll round for third. Cash will cut it off, and there will be no throw. It is a triple to lead off this contest on the first pitch for Jalen Garcia. Linscott, we've seen him make web gem here, web gem there in the outfield. That one he sold out to try and stop that one from falling in front of him. And as soon as it went by his glove, you can tell there was quick regret for the LC State graduate. And as of right now, putting Garcia in the leadoff spot seems to be a pretty smart move from the veteran manager, Jim Riggleman. First pitch coming in to Cruz Taylor. It's a swing and a miss. This is the regular leadoff man for the Billings Mustangs, Cruz Taylor. Bats out of the left-handed batter's box. Usually plays right field for Billings. On the season, Cruz Taylor's batting .270. That one will miss. Count goes to 1-1. Jalen Garcia, you saw the speed on the triple. He can easily gobble up 90 feet. If Cruz Taylor is to put this one to medium depth in the outfield, a heavy shift on. Plan for Taylor to pull. That one will miss low. Count goes to 2-1. Cruz Taylor, somebody that has a lot of known compatriots on the other side in the Glacier Range Rider staff, including Nick Hogan. Last night we had Georgia State University head coach Brad Stromdahl on the broadcast, talked about how he knew Cruz. There is a general nationwide baseball recruiting circuit, but of course there is regional, statewide ones as well. as the 3-1 misses, and it will be a 5-pitch walk from Austin Edwards to Cruz Taylor. No outs here, runners on the corners in the top of the first. Still 0-0 as Edwards has to work himself out of a jam early, and he's going to have to do it against Jacob Klein, who since arriving 23 games ago has a .427 batting average. He has 3 home runs and 18 RBIs, a chance to add to that total here. Edwards stands 6'3", 210 pounds. And the 23-year-old will fire the first pitch. That is clipped foul into the netting. Count goes 0-1. One shout from the crowd member. Asked for a double play here, which would be good for Glacier, but it likely would score the run in Jalen Garcia from third. And this one's hit down the line. The throw to second will get one force. And so it's not that double play, but it's a 5-4 fielder's choice. The run does score. And instead of runners on the corners, it'll just be a runner on first with 1 out, 1-0. Billings takes the lead on a Jacob Klein RBI fielder's choice. Cruz Taylor was the man thrown out on the front half of that. And I'll tell you, the defense, that's a good segue into it. That was Williams in his 3rd professional game. Brian Williams making the play there, and it was a good play on a slow roller. This one's up the middle. Broussard times it well. The tap of second, the throw to first. It is in time. Broussard turns the 6-3 double play. One gets across because of that leadoff Jalen Garcia triple. We'll tell you the defensive alignment when we get back in the top of the second. But first, let's see the Glacier bats up first. We'll head to the bottom of the first. 1-0 Billings. The 6'6", 195-pound Kelvin Pilot, affectionately nicknamed Autopilot when he is rumbling, steps on the mound. Kelvin Pilot, right-hander, originally from Roseville, California. That's in the Los Angeles area. That's where he was born. Graduated from Notre Dame Prep in Scottsdale, and that is where his journey takes him all over the place, and not just on a baseball diamond. He originally came out of high school and played 1 season of basketball at San Diego Christian College. That's in San Diego, of course. It is an NAIA school. Then, after he finished that season, 3 years later, he came back on the scene and played 2 seasons at Arizona Christian University in Phoenix. He had a really successful career there. And then he was out of baseball from 2018 to 2020. As the first pitch from Ben McConnell is fouled off, count goes 0-1. He started last year in the Pecos League with Santa Fe. Finally splashed back on the scene, trying to make a run at professional baseball again, and it's worked out fairly well because then, after having a successful time in the Pecos League, he was signed by Billings last year, and that was only after he opened the season with the Grand Junction Rockies. So he's been all around this Rocky Mountain West area just trying to find a home, and it really seems like he's found it in the Magic City. This hit is into left from Ben McConnell. Camping under is the left fielder Nagel. He grabs it for out number 1. Good time to tell you the lineup before we go too deep in the Glacier Range Riders order. Ben McConnell, who you just saw fly out to left field, led off. Ryan Cash bats second. He's up now, batting out of the right or the left-handed batter's box as he's a switch hitter. Sam Linscott bats third. Wofford, Miller, Morris are the middle 3, and Mazzone, Williams, and Broussard are the bottom 3. The DH is Livingston Morris tonight. Another late swing, as that's what we've seen thus far. Both McConnell and Cash batting out of left-handed batter's box in every single pitch they've made contact with, but every time it has been a late swing. So they're trying to adjust to Kelvin Pilot, who has seen the Glacier Range Riders before, as that's the first time somebody doesn't make contact with a Kelvin Pilot pitch. Swing and a miss makes it 0-2. He went 6 full against the Glacier Range Riders on June the 1st, the first ever matchup between these two sides. 6 full, just 4 hits, he had no runs against him, as that one hit in the dirt. And Ryan Cash is going to run down. The catcher, Pereira, almost could have had some trouble there, because when you strike somebody out, you do a little throw around the diamond, and he didn't realize that one hit the dirt. And so it ends up being a drop third strike, 2-5-3, when usually it's just a 2-3 drop third strike. Nothing wrong with letting your teammates get an assist there, I guess. First pitch misses to Sam Linscott is 1-0. I'll tell you the defensive alignment before we get out of it, like we got out of last inning so quick. Pereira's behind the plate. Raper's the third baseman. Dennison's at short. Klein is the second baseman. Jordan Barth is playing over at first. No swing there from Linscott. Count goes to 2-0. The outfield from left to right for the Billings Mustangs is Nagel, Garcia, and Taylor. Pilot, already mentioned his size, 6'6", on the mound. As that one hits the zone, count goes to 2-1. And he keeps his pants pulled up pretty high, tucks in his jersey there. Has a very distinct look about him. I don't think you'll confuse him with anybody else, as that is another late swing by Glacier Range Rider. That one is rocketed into the soon-to-be opening kid zone down the right field line. 2-2, 2 outs. Sam Linscott at the plate. The Glacier Range Riders opened yesterday's game with 11 straight outs before Sam Linscott was able to break up the perfect game. And here he will not be able to break up the perfect game. It'll be 1 inning perfect for Kelvin Pilot. It is 1-0. We head to the second. Gabe Wertz, the DH tonight for the Billings Mustangs, will step in to start off the top of the second. Due up this inning for Billings, it's Wertz, Nagel, and Barth. Austin Edwards, 9 pitches in that first inning, and an efficient inning, other than the run scored against him. First pitch is a strike in there to Gabe Wertz. Count is 0-1. Swung on, foul ball, just got a piece of it. Count is now 0-2. I talked about Austin Edwards' journey in the first, from Ellsworth Community College to Western Illinois University in Macomb to Hickory, North Carolina, where he attended one season at Lenoir-Rhyne University. 0-2. Swung on, and it is up the chimney. Justin Mazzone. Great concentration to snag that one. Pop foul out to the catcher, results in out number 1 here in the top of the second. I said I'd tell you the defense in the top of the second, and I finally got there. Justin Mazzone, the man who just caught that, is behind the plate. Brian Williams, already mentioned him, his third professional game. He's over at third base. Brant Broussard, Ryan Cash, and Brody Wofford, the everyday short second and first basemen for Glacier. Speaking of Brody Wofford, this one will be hit over to him, and then he'll take a gnarly spin. Wofford almost had a 3 unassisted there, but because of the grip of the turf on a curvy ball there, I mean, probably same thing probably would have happened on dirt. But it takes a wicked slurve after hitting the turf. Count just goes to 0-1. As Nagel, I'm sure, will be appreciative of not grounding into a 3 unassisted. The outfield from left to right is Dean Miller, last night's hero, Ben McConnell in center, and Sam Linscott, the right fielder. 0-1, 1 out, as Nagel sees that one go high. And the count is 1-1 now for Nagel. Foul ball, count goes to 1-2. Nagel, this is just his 11th game played as a Billings Mustang. Talk about Linscott, Mazzone, Dawson Day, all these LC State Warriors. Well, right now it's Mazzone standing behind his former teammate at LC State, as Nagel was also a Warrior. Over his 3 seasons at LC, he batted .342, 31 homers, 153 RBIs as a senior this past year, a .340 batting average with 16 homers, 77 ribbies. Ball makes it 2-2. He was a first-team All-Cascade Conference selection. Before heading to LC State, he played 3 seasons at Cuesta College. Cuesta in San Luis Obispo. And if I mispronounced any of that, that is 100% on me. 2-2 coming in from Edwards. Swung on. That one ricochets off the helmet of Mazzone. And I'm sure a couple friendly words exchanged there between 2 guys that went to the NAI National Championship together just over a month ago. 2-2, 1 out. And Edwards kicks and fires. Swung on and missed. Edwards with a K. And that is his first K of the ball game. On the season for Edwards, it's strikeout number 19. Not going to overwhelm you with the strikeouts is Austin Edwards. He says had now 25 1/3 innings pitched to get to that number 19, but he can blow by you as he does to Jordan Barth there. Count is 0-1 after the swing and the miss from the first baseman for Billings. That one will miss. Count is 1-1. One of the rarer inactive selections that you'll see is what Jordan Barth was inactive for earlier this year, as that one just misses. Counts now 2-1, 2 outs. Bases empty here in the top of the second. He spent 8 days on the inactive list from June 14th to the 22nd to attend his wedding. As that one is swung on, a boom shot by Barth and a no-doubter by the freshly married man. And whether she's in the stadium or at home, Lexi Barth will be celebrating that one as a solo round tripper for Jordan Barth, and it was a no-doubter off the bat. It's 2-0. Billings leads Glacier. Yesterday, the Billings Mustangs did not go yard. They came close as there was a ringing double off the wall in left center. That actually ended up resulted in a throw out at the plate from McConnell to Broussard to Ramon Enriquez, who was the catcher. Swing and a miss there. Count goes to 0-1. Time called by the batter, Brian Pereira. Batting in the 8th spot today. And catching, another swing and a miss there. 0-2, 2 outs, bases empty. 2-0 is our score after the solo home run by Jordan Barth. Pitch misses there. Count goes to 1-2. The all-time series between these squads is right now 3 wins by Glacier, 7 by the Billings Mustangs. Foul ball keeps it at 1-2. At Flathead Field, it is 3-2 now in favor of the Range Riders. Another foul ball. The thing is, it has been lopsided in the one series these two squads have played at Dealer Park in Billings, Montana. All 5 games won by the Billings Mustangs. The first 2 games of that series were convincing for Billings, 8-0 and 14-1. Pitch misses high. Count goes to 2-2. Apparently myself and the scoreboard operator had the wrong count there. It's 3-2. Swung on. This one is popped up. It's going to be a souvenir. I don't know where that third ball came from. Man, you guys can go back and take a look at the replay. Nick Hogan questioned it as well. And a called ball 4. Hey, listen, if it's just me, then I'll take credit for it. But our scoreboard operator is in the other room. They're not listening to me. They're not listening to this broadcast. Of course, this broadcast is on a delay, so people in the stadium can't even listen live. You go back, you count it up yourself. Maybe we all missed a pitch here or there. But the second night in a row where there's clearly some frustrations. And Nick Hogan's going to walk out and go over. I believe they might have just printed out the pitches. There's TrackMan and Yakertech working here in the stadium. This is the second night in a row where something like this has happened. And Nick Hogan has talked the umpire out of it. Wow. wow, we are – and now Jim Riggleman's going to come out, and he's going to say, well, what is it allowed for him to just come out and show you a piece of paper and get you to take a walk off the board? I mean, I see frustration for both coaches here because it seemed like our home plate umpire made that with the utmost confidence, has called that it was 3-2, the count. And now we have another conversation as Nick Hogan is having a conversation with the third base coach, Drew Rossi. So take ball 4 off the board and put ball 3 back on the board. Our home plate umpire is Will Stacy. Over at first is Michael Chuckerman, and Tony Prater is the third base ump. Will Stacy is the only guy that has not umped home in this game. Well, we'll see what happens on the do-over 3-2. It'll miss, and it is all for naught. The explanation from Billings is likely one that goes something like ball don't lie. You can go back and look at it. I counted that as the 4th ball. So did all the range riders. But maybe it worked out where it was just a 5-ball walk for Austin Edwards versus Pereira. And now we'll see if it matters. 2-0 is our score here in the top of the 2nd. Solo home run in this inning by Jordan Barth. A swing and a foul ball from Dennison, the final batter to see the plate for the Billings Mustangs. Batting 9th in the lineup and playing short. Austin Edwards wants a new ball as our home plate umpire Will Stacy cleans off the plate. It is it's rare. I mean, umpires, it's a tough job. It's an incredibly tough job, and you know, you see controversial calls here and there, and very often that is swayed based on who you're rooting for. As that pitch is swung on, hit over to third. Williams fields. He'll throw to second, and 4-pitch walk, 4-ball walk, 5-ball walk, doesn't matter. It is all for naught. We head to the bottom of the 2nd. A Barth homer makes it 2-0. Billings leads. Glacier bats coming right up. Brody Wofford, the man to lead off the bottom of the 2nd. Had a quick conversation with Brennan Mentz, the radio broadcaster for the Billings Mustangs. He was in the same boat as myself, thinking that was ball 3 that the batter Pereira walked on. So it's not just the fact that I'm the Range Riders broadcaster that I miscounted or thought I miscounted or maybe accurately counted. First pitch into Brody Wofford as the strike count goes to 0-1. This is the power three that are due up here. Wofford, the cleanup man. Dean Miller, 2 home runs last night. He's right behind Wofford. And then Livingston Morris, who can pound the rock, is behind him. That one misses up high, counts 1-1. Wofford on the season, his batting average has been continually going up since the start of July. Got it up to 282, 7 home runs, and 33 RBIs. Swings on that one, fouled it back. His 7 home runs is good for 9th in the Pioneer League. One-two is about to come in from Kelvin Pilot, who's retired the first 3 batters. And a foul ball will keep Wofford alive. For Kelvin Pilot, the story of this season, after he found a home at the end of last year, throwing 44 innings for the Billings Mustangs. Story of his season has been started as a starter, had a really rough outing at Great Falls. Swing and a miss there. Strike 3. 1 gone here in the bottom of the second. And then after a 3 2/3 innings outing at Great Falls, where he allowed 8 earned runs, 7 hits, he has been used out of the pen since then. 1 2/3, 1 inning, 1 inning, 1 inning, 1/3 of an inning. And then they're finally starting to groove him back into that longer role that they want to be able to use him in, and that there was their hope to use him in opening night when he started against Missoula, threw 4 1/3 innings against the defending champ Paddleheads, and picked up the loss. Called strike there to Dean Miller, last night's hero, and the main evidence for why Billings is going to want to stretch this game to a wider margin than just 2 runs. He erased a 2-run margin in 1 swing of the bat tonight. Cannot do it here, but can definitely cut the deficit in half. Did not follow through fully on that swing. Kelvin Pilot, though, blowing up the zone right now. 15 out of 18 pitches he's thrown have been strikes. Oh-2, 1 out. Pilot sets on the mound, the pitch. Skips in the dirt for Dean Miller. I talked plenty about him last night because of, obviously, his heroics. His final season at UC Riverside, he batted .365 with 49 RBIs and 14 dingers. Grew up in Riverside, went to the community college there, and then played for UC Riverside before starting his minor league baseball career. That one misses. Counts now 2-2 to Dean Miller. Skips in the dirt. We go 3-2 with 1 out here. Livingston Morris swinging the lumber in the on-deck circle, preparing to step up to the plate as no matter what happens to Miller, Livingston Morris will get a crack himself. And it's a called strike 3. I think the crowd reacting more to what Dean Miller's opinion of that was, as not anybody in the stadium has a better view than the home plate umpire. Dean Miller, alongside the catcher, obviously have pretty good views of whether something was a strike or a ball, and Dean Miller took a couple steps toward first before he got punched out by Will Stacy. First pitch swing in, and it's hit. Kind of a soft liner, going to be a neat throw all the way across the diamond, and Livingston Morris will reach on an error. It's going to be an E6 as it was hit to Dennison, and Dennison skipped that one. It could not be scooped successfully out of the turf from Jordan Barth. Justin Mazzone will come up now. On deck is Brian Williams, still looking for his first professional hit. We'll see if we see him with a chance to prove himself. So still no hits against Kelvin Pilot. But he does allow a base runner for the first time. Not his fault, of course. First pitch swinging, it'll be a foul out of play to Justin Mazzone. Mazzone hasn't had a ton of playing time in the past week or so. Ramon Enriquez has been a batter that has seen plenty of time at the catching position, as well as Brenton Davis. Giving Mazzone a little bit of time to rest after he played a full spring season. And he swings and misses there. Count is 0-2. 2 outs, Livingston Morris on first. Don't look for him to try and swipe a bag. 0-2. And a swing and a miss, a 3-pitch strikeout after the E6, and the Glacier Range Riders are retired in the bottom of the second. It is 2-0 Billings. We head to the third. Jalen Garcia led off this game first pitch with a triple where he later scored the opening run of the game. We'll see if Riggleman keeps him in the opening spot in the lineup. If that is a success that we keep seeing. Jalen Garcia, the first ever game here at Flathead Field, he was the MVP of. Absolutely smattered the Glacier Range Riders, and on a rainy night, he doused any chance of a Glacier win. Swung on that one. It's going to loop up and into right field. Linscott doesn't have to dive to try and grab that one. It's right into his glove for out number one. Right now, Austin Edwards at 35 pitches. He did not play his only collegiate ball, or his only baseball during his collegiate years, just at Ellsworth Community College, Western Illinois, and Leonard Rhine. He also had 2 summer stints with the Lakeshore Chinooks of the Northwoods League. 2 summers in Mequon, Wisconsin. But don't know if that counts as a suburb of Milwaukee, but it is awfully close to being that. It is a far-reaching north suburb. The home stadium of the Lakeshore Chinooks is located on the campus of Concordia University, Wisconsin. 1-1 pitch coming in, 1 out, bases empty. Cruz Taylor sees that one miss. Count goes to 2-1. And a interesting connection for Austin Edwards. I believe he told me Sam Conrath, the trainer for the Glacier Range Riders. He's from Wisconsin, and his brother was an intern for the Lakeshore Chinooks. Swung on a miss. Count goes to 2-2. He's from not Mequon, but a town right next to that I'm forgetting the name of. When I asked him his hometown to put on the website, he originally says Mequon, and that's how we got into the conversation of that. Pitch misses low and away. Counts 3-2. 1 out, bases empty here. Cruz Taylor's 0 for 0 with a walk. He was later thrown out on the fielder's choice that scored Garcia. He was the lone victim in that play. Trying to walk again here. 3-2. Called. Strike 3, and Cruz Taylor is down looking. Jacob Klein, he has an RBI to his name, but he is 0 for 1 because of that 5-4 fielder's choice. Pioneer League is in full swing tonight, pun intended, as we have 6 games for you. Swing and a miss there from Jacob Klein. 6 games we'll update you on throughout the night. The Idaho Falls Chuckers earlier today grabbed their 23rd win of the season. Peel over to first, says he doesn't swing. Counts 1-1. 23-20 now is the record for the Chuckers. They, for a moment, put themselves in a tie with Billings. They have played 2 more games, though, and won 1 more and lost 1 more. Swung on. This one is up the silo. Will it stay in play for Mazzone? He calls off everybody, and he makes the snag for out number 3. Justin Mazzone. Man, he is having to do some work in the foul territory behind home plate, but he has been called upon twice and been successful twice. We'll be right back. Tell you some more PBL scores in the bottom of the 3rd. It's 2-0 Billings. We'll see 8-9-1, Brian Williams, Brant Broussard, and the leadoff man, Ben McConnell. It's Triple B, I guess you could say, with Brian, Brant, and Ben. Brian Williams coming up, looking for his first professional hit here. He will see Kelvin Pilot. 6'6" versus 5'10". First pitch is a strike in into Williams there. Played his college ball at Division III Birmingham Southern, a powerhouse school. Only lost 10 games, did the Panthers this season. Missing high. They went all the way to the super regional round of the NCAA tournament after going undefeated to win their regional. And that's where they fell to the Trinity University Tigers of the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. 1-1, no outs. Williams swings. It's going to be a tough play for the first baseman, but Racing Pilot not able to come up. Oh, it's safe. It is safe. Williams beats it out as the first base umpire over there, Michael Chuckerman, says that he was off the bag. I'm right here, right with a great shot down that first base line. I didn't have, obviously, my binoculars out looking to see if he got his foot on the bag, but it did look like his foot reacted to not being on a flat surface like the turf. I think Brian Williams will take it, and now our first chance to see Brian Williams on base, and he's got a lot of speed, so be careful. 28 steals at Birmingham Southern this season, I believe. Not going on the first pitch. Brant Broussard will swing on the first pitch. That's going to be an error. I believe that's credited to the pitcher in E1. We had this situation about a week ago in the Missoula series. Had some questions about it. Usually you almost never give the error to the person that's receiving the ball, but if it's a good throw and the player doesn't tap the bag, which is what the first base ump said happened with Kelvin Pilot, he gets credited with the error. Throw over to first. Tag applied, but way late just to try and keep the base runner Brian Williams honest. So 2 base runners this game, both reaching on errors thus far. An E6 and an E1. 0-1 coming in to Brant Broussard. Misses high to the former LSU Tiger. Count goes to 1-1. Started his career at Nicholls State and played at Delgado Community College before playing where he was destined to play in Baton Rouge. 1-1. No outs. And Pilot prepares to pitch. Swung on by Brant Broussard. And it's fouled back. Count goes to 1-2 now for Broussard. One of his nicknames, the spark plug. He comes up with big plays in big moments, and sometimes he just hasn't got the backing that he needs. Part of the reason why, even though you have a spark plug, you need to capitalize on it. Pickoff attempt over to first is much closer than the most recent time we saw a pickoff attempt over there. Safe still, though, from Brian Williams. Counts 1-2, no outs, bottom of the third here. Runner on first, Williams. I don't think it's going to be long before we see him go. And he stunted a steal attempt there. Took one step, kind of shimmied the hips, tried to entice something. And it's called a balk. Pickoff attempt over to first base, but the umpire said, Brian Williams, you can get to second. Now Williams is on second, a 2-2, fouled off by Brant Broussard. Scoring position with no outs. And Broussard will try and take advantage of it. 2-2, no outs, runner on second. Broussard prepares and sees that one hit the lower part of the zone. A called strike 3. 1 away here in the bottom of the third. And we flip over the lineup card for the first time for Glacier. When you hear the name Brian Williams, you might at first think of a professional baseball player, former professional baseball player, named Brian Williams. As this one will skip and go past the catcher, and the Glacier Range Riders' Brian Williams will advance to third. Wild pitch moves him up 90 feet, and right now it's been an interesting journey for him. E1 got him to first, Bach got him to second, wild pitch got him to third, and he'll take it anyway. I keep talking about his speed. You haven't really got to see much of it. The E1, of course, helped by his speed. First pitch, or second pitch there, after the wild pitch. Called ball, counts now 2-0, 1 out. McConnell could score him on a sacrifice fly. Could be an RBI ground out as well. They're just trying to get something on the board against this stingy Billings pitching staff. Swung on, and it will be a hit to second. It will be enough to score the run. The out will be successful over at first. And it is an RBI 4-3 ground out for Ben McConnell. Scores Brian Williams, his first professional run scored. It is 2-1 in the bottom of the third. Up comes Ryan Cash. 0 for 1 today is Cash. He struck out swinging. That was a rare sight to see. And that one he jump ropes out of the way of. Count goes to 1-0 after the ball. Kelvin Pilot will throw pitch number 40 upcoming. Because that was scored in E1 rather than a hit to Williams. He still has a no-hitter, but he's got a run against him. Pitch misses. Count goes to 2-0. Another ball. Now it's 3-0 to Ryan Cash. Not a guy you want to let on the bases. Because like McConnell, Broussard, and Williams, he makes up this bottom and top of the order that is stacked with so much speed. 3-0 get me over pitch. Does get over. Cash almost flipped his bat, but he just twirled it and kept it in his hand. He knows just as much as anybody. Don't want to get on the umpire's bad side by doing something like that. 3-1 now is the count. 2 outs. That one also a called strike, and a wry look by the mild-mannered Cash. All you're going to get out of him in terms of disagreement with the umpire. 3-2, 2 outs. Bases empty for Cash. Swings on it. It's a high fly ball heading towards the gap in left center. Nagel comes over and on the run is able to grab it for out number 3. However, Williams gets his first professional run. He's brought across on the RBI ground out from Ben McConnell. It is 2-1. We head to the 4th inning of play. Back here, top of the fourth inning. Jackson Raper leads off. Austin Edwards will throw pitch number 45 of his outing. And it is a called strike to start off this fourth inning. He's at 45 pitches, and he was at 44 through the first 3 innings. Your quirky fact of the day is that one hits the zone. Both pitchers, Kelvin Pilot and Austin Edwards, despite Edwards having 2 hits against him and Kelvin Pilot still currently having a no-hitter, exactly 44 pitches from both pitchers in the first 3 innings. Baseball is a weird game sometimes. 1-2. That one will miss. Counts now 2-2. Foul ball will stay at 2-2. No outs here. Base is empty. We lead off the top of the 14th with Jackson Raper, who sees that one missing low. Not squeezed by the catcher, Mazzone. Catcher's always frustrated with that, especially on 2-strike pitches. If they think it's close to the zone, they want to be able to frame it. Mazzone not able to do so there. 3-2 to the left-hander, Jackson Raper. And that one will miss. It'll be ball 4. Second straight pitch that Mazzone can't handle cleanly. A full count walk. The leadoff batter is aboard here to start off the fourth inning. No outs. Gabe Wirtz now stepping up. Gabe Wirtz is 0 for 1 today. I already told you the final score to start off this Wednesday night around the PBL. 16-5 in favor of the Idaho Falls Chuckers. That was win number 23 on the season. They're tied with Billings now, but they have 2 more games played than the Mustangs. First pitch up near the head of Wirtz. He bends his knees to get out of it. Count is 1-0. Also around the PBL, a cross-Colorado rivalry. Grand Junction is hosting Northern Colorado, and they currently lead 3-0 in Western Colorado. Game 2 between the Idaho Falls Chuckers and the Boise Hawks, and that cross-state rivalry is 2-2 right now. Bottom of the third. The only non-cross-state matchup is a Colorado-Utah battle, as this one is skied out to right field. Backing up is Linscott. He gets all the way to the track before being able to come up with it. The right fielders have their work cut out for them in terms of the sun that is setting behind my press box down the left field line. Linscott staring up into the glowing orb that gives us light and able to navigate it to make the grab for out number 1. And Aiden Nagel, the left fielder, comes up for his second time. He's 0 for 1. Struck out swinging in his first trip to the plate. I mentioned the Colorado-Utah battle going on. Rocky Mountain and Ogden. It's 5-1 as Ogden tries to close in on their first half pennant. Swing and a miss. Count goes to 0-1. Missoula and Great Falls. Missoula needs 1 win to book their playoff spot to try and defend their crown. And they're on their way to doing that right now. 4-1 they lead in the top of the 4th over Great Falls. Great Falls needs to win every game of their series this week. A monumental task ahead of the Voyagers. Another swing and a miss from Nagel. Comes up empty and now is behind 0-2. 1 out, runner on first is Jackson Raper. The best offense in the Pioneer League right now in terms of runs scored belongs to the Ogden Raptors. They've scored 348 runs. That one will miss. Count goes to 1-2. The least productive offense. You can track that to the Boise Hawks, and they're in third in the Southern Division. They do have a much better defense than the Rocky Mountain Vibes, who have allowed 418 runs. Of course, they've been on a hot trend, and a called strike three there. Nagel goes down on a K for the second time, swinging his first time, looking that time. And now it's Jordan Barth who will step up. And again, if she's watching on the broadcast, his newlywed wife, Lexi, will perk up to make sure to watch this at-bat. Barth spent his 5-year career at Augustana University. I've already talked plenty about Augustana University, Augustana College, both the Vikings. But Augustana University is in Division II in South Dakota. Augustana College is located in the Quad Cities, Moline, Illinois. Plays in the CCIW in the Division III ranks. Originally, Jordan Barth is from St. Cloud, Minnesota. And Eric Decker, if you know that name, he is a former NFL wide receiver. You probably know him mostly with the Denver Broncos as well as the New York Jets. Also went to high school at Rocori High School in Cold Springs, Minnesota. Another well-hit ball from Barth. This time Dean Miller's tracking it back. He's going to glance off the wall right after he makes that catch on the run. Another well-struck ball from Jordan Barth, but this one can't go yard, and another blank inning thrown by Austin Edwards. Still 2-1 Billings leads. We head to the bottom of the fourth. We get 3, 4, 5 in this half inning for the Glacier Range Riders. Sam Linscott is the number 3 batter. He has been since the turn of the calendar month. Type of guy that Nick Hogan likes to see in that 3 spot. Has some power, can put it over the fence, but also has a lot of speed. Cleanup is where you get the guys that can really tank it and aren't as big as threats on the base pass. First pitch misses low. Count goes to 1-0 for Sam Linscott. Linscott, one of numerous Seattle Mariners fans on this Glacier Range Riders roster. Dawson Day, his LC State teammate from Gresham, Oregon, but also a Mariners fan. Justin Mazzone played 4 years of college ball in Seattle, but he refused to admit that he was swayed to the Mariners. And as a Mariners fan myself, I do not blame him all that much. It is tough unless you're really deep in the fandom. Foul ball count is 1-2, but right now it's a good time to be a Mariners fan. They just finished off their 10th straight victory. And for those that care, the Mariners have not won 10 straight since before 2003. They are feeling good, and they're a fun team to watch right now. 1-2 coming in. Misses high, count goes to 2-2. Linscott got off on my good foot. Got on a good foot with me right off the bat because he was wearing a Mariners hat when I first met him. 2-2. Swung on, just gets enough contact, dribbled down that third base line, and Kelvin Pilot is not going to be able to soar that one to first. Tried to make a barehanded play on it, but it is the first hit of the ball game. It's not a big splash against Kelvin Pilot's no-hitter that he had going, but you do what you got to do to get the job done, and Sam Linscott will now be aboard for Brody Wofford. Can they deactivate autopilot, which is what Kelvin Pilot was doing in the first 3 innings? Other than the E1 Bach wild pitch ground out that got Brian Williams all the way around the diamond, he has been soaring. First pitch coming into Brody Wofford now in this righty-lefty matchup. Runner going. Linscott will have to walk back as Brody Wofford fouls it off. Looked like he got a good jump there, did Linscott, but now Pilot will be well aware that Linscott is looking to swipe. Pilot already called for a balk today, so he's going to be careful about that. 0-1, no outs. Linscott on first with plenty of wheels. Does not go on that pitch, and Brody Wofford does not swing. Count goes to 1-1 after the ball. Pilot over 50 pitches now. He's at 51. After a 15 pitch inning last inning from Austin Edwards, he's at 59 now. Pilot a long pause before firing away and missing the zone. Count goes to 2-1. Brody Wofford, his first time up, struck out swinging. Pilot at this point has 5 strikeouts and no walks. 2-1, no outs. Runner on first is Linscott. A slow pickoff attempt over there. Jordan Barth fields it, does not apply a tag, and just lobs it back to his pitcher. Tonight marks a huge occasion for the Range Riders organization as they open their first general admission ticket sales. A lashed line drive foul. Count goes now 2-2 for Brody Wofford. No outs, runner on first. 100 general admission ticket sales were released to the general public today. A big announcement today as we look to get more general admissions areas open. Pickoff attempt over to first, unsuccessful. The first baseline general admission area that includes the kids zone, still not open yet, but getting closer and closer to it. The third baseline general admission area a little bit smaller, but that is open, and plenty of kids are playing on the hill there, waiting for a foul ball to come their way. And I want to miss outside. The count goes full for Brody Wofford. Those GA tickets, they cost $10. You can get them online. Of course, tonight's GA was just for tonight as it was released. But when the GA is fully open, as we get a swing and a miss there, $10 per ticket, as well as $8 tickets for active duty military as well as veterans. And $7 tickets for kids that are 10 and under. And I'll tell you what, when I was growing up in Helena, Montana, watching the Helena Brewers play, back when the PBL was affiliated. The Brewers, of course, were a affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers. It was those kids' tickets that I made a living off of. The steal attempt is successful. I thought he got the tag in, Klein, after a great throw from Brian Pereira. But Linscott just got his left hand into the bag. The pitch was a strike. Count goes to 0-1 on Dean Miller, but now he's working with a man in scoring position. Dean Miller, you can see his interview from last night after he had the heroics on all Glacier Range Riders social media. Foul ball makes it 0-2 now against him. The thing that surprised me most about Dean Miller is his acknowledgement that, he didn't really know what was going to happen. That's what sports at this level are. They are just as much a chess game and trying to figure out what is your opponent's next move. What are they going to pitch here? What are they going to pitch there? What am I expecting? And Dean Miller wasn't really expecting much because he lasered a shot over the right field wall. His most recent at-bat. And then in that next at-bat, when he was seeing Al Pesto, he put him one right over the plate, and Miller said, I'm just going to get a hold of it. And he finished off answering that question about that game-winning home run in the bottom of the eighth with the phrase, and I just got lucky. Which, sometimes you get a little tailwind, you put enough on it, you hope it gets over the wall and it gets to the right spot. This one will be hit to short. Sam Linscott will be forced to run back to second base, so it's an unproductive ground out there. Every time it comes off the bat, whether it's a ground out, whether it's a hit, fly ball, fly out, or a home run, nearly every time it just soars off the bat of Miller, and it's the same thing for Livingston Morris where it flies off of his bat. First pitch misses a zone to Livingston Morris. Count goes to 1-0. Sam Linscott still waiting at second. He'll be going on most contact as they got a heavy shift on right now for Morris. With the second baseman, Klein, playing right over the second base bag, trying to stop anything going up the middle. And a swing and a miss makes it 1-1. Jordan Barth over at first is basically covering the entire right side of the infield. Not expecting a pushed hit here by Livingston Morris. This one will be dribbled down the third base line. It'll need to be a charge and a throw, and what a play by the third baseman, Jackson Raper, as he fields that one on the charge, flings it to first for out number 3. Still 2-1. Billings leads. We head to the 5th. Brian Pereira leads off the top of the 5th against Austin Edwards. Bunt squared, but not squared enough, as that bunt is foul. Count goes to 0-1. We're here in the top of the 5th inning. 2-1. The Glacier Range Riders trail the Billings Mustangs. Pereira, last time up, was the recipient of a 3-ball walk before the umpires realized that it was 3 balls after Nick Hogan brought out the pitch chart. And then he was still a recipient of the walk after the next pitch was a ball. That one just escapes the glove of Justin Mazzone, as could have been a foul-tip strikeout. Instead, just enough of a piece gotten by Brian Pereira. He survives to see another 0-2. This one will go high. Counts 1-2 now. 2-1 ball game. Another close contest where at least one team is low scoring. That's what we saw last night, as well as opening night of this series on Monday. Swing and a miss. Austin Edwards, another strikeout for the Iowa native, his 4th of the contest. See Mason Dennison step up. June 14th, his professional debut was also the debut of the Glacier Range Riders' beautiful home facility. And the only reason why he was able to have that professional debut that night was because of the artificial turf in place here. That's what the Range Riders organization opted to go with, rather than traditional grass and dirt, because of the nature of the squad being right on the Rocky Mountains. You get a lot of flash thunderstorms. We saw one this afternoon, right around 5 p.m., right before Billings took BP. It was gnarly rain for a brief moment, and it was gnarly thunder as well. Dennison swings out of his shoes. Count goes to 2-1. 1 out, base is empty, top of the 5th. In a typical stadium that has the kind of typical setup of dirt and grass, they don't get the luxury of being able, as that one misses, count goes to 3-1, and the crowd doesn't like it. They need to put a tarp on that to protect it. Called strike there, as Dennison will take off his shin guard and then put it back on. Count goes to 3-2. Full count coming up for Dennison, the shortstop. Luckily, nobody really needed to care about the lightning and rain that was rolling through. He just let the field take it. We saw on opening night it can take it, and a swing and a miss there as Dennison goes down on strikes. 2 outs in the top of the 5th as Austin Edwards starting to hit his stride here. He has thrown 2 straight innings scoreless, trying to get through a 3rd straight inning scoreless, but he's going to have to finish this inning off against Jalen Garcia. 1 for 2 with a triple today is Jalen Garcia. The sun is out here after those rainstorms. Even in the hour leading up, there was some rain. This one hit over to short. Broussard's going to have to turn and fire. Safe over at first. A spinorama by Brant Broussard can't beat out the speed of Jalen Garcia. There was a hesitation from the first base umpire, making sure he absorbed that one and got it right. And a call at first earlier this game went the Range Riders' way on that E1 that was issued to Kelvin Pilot when the first base ump said that the foot was off the bag for Kelvin Pilot when he was covering on the Brian Williams hit. That was hit into the outfield. That was scored an error. And right there, he didn't say that Wofford was off the bag. He just said that Garcia beat it out. An infield single for the leadoff batter. Now brings up the usual leadoff, Cruz Taylor, to see ball 1. It's an incredibly tough play by Brant Broussard. He is apt to play every position in the infield except for first base. Have not seen it there this year. Skips in the dirt. Good field. Off that turf from Justin Mazzone. Count is now 2-0 to Cruz Taylor. Brad Broussard listed at just 5'10". Typically, you don't see a ton of first basemen that are below the 6-foot mark. However, mentioned the Mariners earlier. Carlos Santana, the current first baseman for the M's, while Ty France is injured. I believe he stands 5'11". 2-0, 2 outs. Cruz Taylor tries to make a splash at the plate. He's 0 for 1 after he struck out looking his most recent trip to the plate. Another pickoff attempt over to first. Austin Edwards trying to keep Jalen Garcia close to the bag because he knows he can boogie. .73 pitches thrown by Austin Edwards. 74 upcoming. Misses outside. Now 3-0 for Cruz Taylor. One ball will put Garcia on second. And Taylor on first. Taylor, originally from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Graduate of Archer High School in his hometown of Lawrenceville. 3-0 comes in and it'll miss. Ball four, a 4-pitch walk on pitch 75 for Austin Edwards. There is 2 Glacier Range riders warming up in the pen. Nobody is looking too serious, as it's just kind of a casual back and forth toss. It was actually Brenton Davis, I think, that was warming up with Ramon Enriquez. And then the current bullpen catcher, John Pardue, is warming up with the actual pitcher. We're going to have a quick conversation with Mike Spears. Other broadcasters have mentioned, I believe Jeff Safford, the broadcaster for the Missoula Paddleheads, he says he loves Mike Spears because he comes out, he says a few words, and he gets right off. He doesn't slow it down a bunch. Jacob Klein stepping in now, 0 for 2. Popped out to Justin Mazzone his last time up, and I was also grounded into that fielder's choice 5-4 that did score Garcia. Runners are going. The throw to third. And it's safe over there at third. Mazzone rifled it down to the third base bag. And Williams had to make an impressive play to catch that, but he did catch it, and he put it right on the foot of Garcia, but just eking out a safe run into the bag is Jalen Garcia. 1-0 as the pitch was a ball. Klein now has 2 runners in scoring position and a chance to break this game wide open, really, with a base hit. As a defensive battle would go to 4-1, and the way Kelvin Pilot's been pitching, it would be an uphill battle for the Range Riders, as they already have to make up a little more ground. 2-1 contest here in the top of the 5th. Jacob Klein 0 for 2 today, but could bring home 2 with 1 swing. Breaking ball splashes into the zone. Count is now 2-1, 2 outs. Austin Edwards, unlikely maybe with the warm-ups we see going on that we'll see him in the next inning. But there's a chance if he's able to get out of this inning quickly. Big couple pitches coming up. On deck is Jackson Raper. Swing and a miss from Jacob Klein. And the scoreboard was wrong. That first pitch to Justin Mazzone was a strike, and so he's out of the inning. And that's on me. Strike 3, out of the jam. It's 2-1. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Kelvin Pilot back out for his 5th inning of work. Needs one more to be eligible for the victory, and he needs to go through 7, 8, 9. Mazzone, Williams, and Brant Broussard. Williams this inning will be looking again for his first career hit, so don't go anywhere because he is on deck. But we'll see what Mazzone can do before Williams steps up. Foul ball. Count goes to 0-1. That one misses high. Count is 1-1 now. Slap to short, and it's right to Dennison. He fields and throws to Barth. Quick 6-3 ground out. We got one gone to the bottom of the 5th. Brian Williams up. Reach base for the first time in his professional career, the last time when he was able to be the recipient of a call that was disagreed upon by Jim Riggleman and the Billings Mustangs. They said Kelvin Pilot, covering the bag, pulled his foot off the bag. I also was skeptical of that call. I thought it was closer to Williams beating it out, as that will be his first professional hit. Brian Williams says, well, if you didn't give it to me last time, I'll take it right there. A late swing from Brian Williams, but he rifles it beyond the outstretched glove of Klein. And he is aboard in the H column for the first time in his career. And he did score the run earlier in this contest as well. As Kelvin Pilot right now is having a little bit of a disagreement with some of the balls. He's trading out a lot of baseballs right now. And we'll see what Brant Broussard can do at the plate. Broussard is 0 for 1. He struck out looking. First pitch swinging. Foul ball. Going to be up and a groan from the crowd there as they wanted that one to fall in the infield area and be a possible souvenir, but it just hits on the roof of the suite level. 0-1, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th. Runner on first is Williams. Have not seen him with a steal attempt yet. This one is hit right back to Pilot, who will throw to second, and Brant Broussard will beat it out. Just goes down as a 1-6 fielder's choice for Broussard, but 2 outs now in the bottom of the 5th as Pilot uses all of that 6-6 frame and that basketball playing ability to go up and grab that one like a rebound and flip around to first, or flip around to second, and Dennison covering. Broussard will now be the man on first for Ben McConnell. First pitch swinging. It's a foul ball for McConnell. He's 0 for 2 today. Does have the lone RBI of the game for a Glacier Range Rider when he grounded out and brought home Williams. The Corinth, Texas native will prepare to fire the 0-1. A long glance over to first to check out what Broussard's doing over there. Swung on and a not called by anybody there. Eventually, the home plate umpire called it, but the umpire over at third base didn't have the call, didn't have the better angle on it. That's the call for the home plate umpire to make. And after he realized it was his call, he did put up his hand saying it was a foul ball. Count goes to 0-2 for Ben McConnell. Pickoff attempt over to first base. Yesterday, if you were watching the game, I did confirm with Brant Broussard that when he had a pause and he was staring over at first, they tried to do that hidden ball trick, no throwback. Missed outside, counts 1 and 2. He was refusing to go in the batter's box or even really take it seriously. He knew that the ball wasn't with the pitcher, and he didn't want his buddy, I believe, Brenton Davis, over at first base to fall for it. So he just pointed at first and said, what are you doing? I'm not going over there. As Broussard will try and steal second. The throw from Pereira, safe. Safe at second, and more arguments coming from Dennison, who thought he had the stolen base of Linscott nabbed, and this time he thinks he has Broussard. And again, the umpire disagrees with him. That umpire is Tony Prater, who was our home plate umpire last night. 2-2 will come in now from Pilot to McConnell. Foul ball. McConnell just stays alive. 2 home runs in the last week. He didn't hit any home runs in the month of June. July has been powerful for the Texan. Right now just trying to find a base hit to get his buddy Brant Broussard across. Steps off the rubber and then a half-hearted flick of the elbow over to second for Pilot, not wanting to get called for his second balk of the game. 2-2, 2 outs. And a swing and a miss by Ben McConnell. He is down on strikes. Stranded at second is Brant Broussard. We head to the 6th, 2-1. Billings leads Glacier. We're here in the top of the 6th, and it is a pitching change for the Glacier Range Riders. Right now, Austin Edwards exits in line to get the loss, despite a marvelous 5 innings from him, allowing just 3 hits for Edwards, 2 runs, both earned, 6 strikeouts, and 4 walks. 1-0 pitch will come in. And that one will miss. Count goes to 2-0. The new pitcher, Logan Walters. He is a former Memphis Tiger, spent his last year at NAIA Southeastern, and it was a productive year for him. He had really good stats and got himself a trophy as well, a national title at the NAIA level, as Southeastern defeated LC State in the national championship and finished off a 59-4 season. This one is lofted up. The third baseman, Brian Williams, comes over and nabs it for out number one. Just an unreal season for the Fire this year, and clearly one of the teams. I mean, obviously you look at LC State that lost single-digit games as well. But, you know, they were playing the Detroit Tigers in spring training. And just to keep it within 11 of pro ball players, that tells you a lot about the Southeastern University squad. Two of their losses were to a school where we got a couple alums right now playing on the field, both in center field. Ben McConnell, a former Kaiser University player. This one's going to need to be charged by Williams. He'll fire across the diamond. What a stretch from Brody Wofford. Wow. Brian Williams had to put mustard on it, and Brody Wofford just about ripped himself in half. Kept his foot on the bag. Michael Chuckerman made sure of it. And Brody Wofford, man, doing his yoga classes in the morning, apparently. Ouch. Seems to be okay. 2 outs now, bases empty in the top of the 6th. That is a situation where if he pulled his foot off the bag, you probably still might give the hit to the number 5 batter in the Billings lineup, Wirtz, just because that was such a tough play that Williams needed to come a long way, charge that one, make the throw on the run, and still it was a close play over there at first. And if he makes a little off target, you can't really blame him. It would have been, quote-unquote, extraordinary effort to make the play, but we don't even need to simulate that because Williams made it. Wofford made the stretch, and the count is now 1-2 after the ball drops off the shelf in front of Aiden Nagel, and he swings and misses. 1-2. Called strike 3. His second straight strikeout looking. He has a strikeout swinging as well. He'll try and avoid the golden sombrero next time he's up. And we head to the bottom of the 6th. It's 2-1. Billings leads Glacier. That was, I don't know if you were able to see that at home, but if you were paying attention to the mid-inning promotion there, that the Glacier Range Riders just did. That was something else. It was blindfold a guy, try and get him to find the mascot Huck. And most of it, I think, was happening off your screen. But he was not going near, and the fans were trying to tell him that he was not going near because that's the point. You blindfold him and try and tell him. And he was going further away, and the fans were getting more panicked that he was about to walk into the warm-ups as Ryan Cash will have a chance up the middle. Out over at first. 6-3 ground out to start off the bottom of the sixth. The bottom line is the poor kid over there that's blindfolded just about walked into the warm-ups by Kelvin Pilot. Oh, my goodness. And he had to be dragged by one of our on-field workers away from that, and he was fighting it at first, not realizing that that was somebody trying to protect him from getting clocked with a Kelvin Pilot pitch. Just another day in minor league baseball, ladies and gentlemen. One out here after Cash grounds out. He put good mustard on that off the bat, but it lost a lot of velocity after it hit the mound. That one hits the dirt. Count is 1-0. Kelvin Pilot's at 76 pitches. Right now he's in line for the win. And Lynn Scott, who is 1 for 2, swings and misses. Just 2 hits by the Glacier Range Riders today. One by this man, Lynn Scott. The other by Brian Williams, his first professional hit. They got a fairly heavy shift on for him. Not expecting him to push it into right field. That one will skip in the dirt. Count is now 2-1. Three hits for Billings, but right now that's enough. That one misses. Counts 3-1 for Pilot versus Lynn Scott. Pilot, one of the keys to his appearance thus far, no walks for him. However, the 1 run scored is unearned because it goes down as an E1 against him. Williams would not have reached if he would have clearly tapped the bag, which first base umpire Michael Chuckerman said he did not. 3-1. Misses low. Lynn Scott gets aboard. The first walk of the game issued by Kelvin Pilot, and maybe that's enough for Jim Riggleman to start thinking about his replacement. Brody Wofford stepping up, the hero 2 nights ago. One of the heroes. He had 3 RBIs, including a 2-run home run and a sacrifice fly. 0 for 2 today, though, is Wofford, 2 strikeouts swinging. His third battle against Kelvin Pilot will start in a few moments. Sam Linscott just got picked. No, he did not. I got to stop trying to read the umpires' minds. And that one looked like he had him with that secondary lead. Linscott, all of his momentum was going away from first base, but he still found a way to somehow get in there. He also has a successful stolen base, and it was a similar one where I thought he was done for, and Linscott finds a way to elude the tag. That one does not elude the strike zone. Called strike, counts 0-1. 1 out here after Cash grounded out to start this inning. And we do have a warm-up going on right after that walk issued to Lynn Scott. Riggleman made a sign to his pen to get up and move in. A right-hander is warming up in the on-field bullpen. 0-1. Swung on, fouled out of play. Brody Wofford's played in a lot of different places. Baseball has surely taken him around this country and a lot around the Southeast. Played for Georgia Gwinnett as well as LSU. Swings on that one and misses. Count goes to 0. Count expires. That was the third pitch there. That was an 0-2 count already. I shouldn't blame the umpires for not being able to keep track when I didn't realize that was 0-2. It is a hot night. Not as hot as last night, but it is a night that will see the end of Kelvin Pilot. Believe Riggleman made the sign already. Or maybe he didn't. We have another pitcher warming up in the pen. A left-hander is also doing work. And I don't think he made the sign. Maybe he's just trying to buy some time right now. As the next batter, Dean Miller, has had success against these Mustangs. They know 2 home runs last night. However, it is a righty-righty matchup right now that Riggleman will want to keep. But he's keeping Kelvin Pilot in there for now. Riggleman walks back to the top step of his dugout. He's got 1 foot on the top step now. 2nd foot is on the bottom step. And he's talking with his assistant coaches, trying to figure out what Kelvin Pilot has to do or has to allow to exit this game. This likely will be his final inning of work, just trying to get through it. Dean Miller 0 for 2 tonight. First pitch laced up the middle, a base hit from Dean Miller. That one shot out of the cannon of Dean Miller. Kelvin Pilot luckily there to back it up as Jalen Garcia just fired that one into second base. Trying to maybe catch Linscott with too big of a turn, but nobody was covering right on second base there. And again, like I said, luckily Kelvin Pilot there backing it up. Talk about the exit velo from Dean Miller. He can crank it, and that one just about took off the head of Kelvin Pilot. Jim Riggleman is allowing Pilot to battle with Livingston Morris. Morris, like Miller, 0 for 2. Has put the ball into play twice, reached on an error, and he swings and misses. The throw over to first base is unsuccessful. No tag. Yes, they're saying he did make the tag on the lower body of Dean Miller. A diving play there and a nice pick play down to first. Pereira throws to Barth, and Barth chases down Dean Miller to get out number 3 that way. We head to the 7th, still 2-1. Billings leads Glacier. Logan Walters out for his 2nd inning of work. Started to mention that 2 out of the 4 games that the Southeastern Fire lost this year were to Kaiser University, where both Mason Dennison as well as Ben McConnell played their college ball with the Seahawks down there. First pitch in there is a ball to Jordan Barth. We will have a Sun Conference matchup in this next half inning. So that's a swing and a miss. I'll tell you this much. Mason Dennison in this calendar year has homered off of Logan Walters. Called strike there, counts 1-2. So keep an eye out for that matchup between a former Southeastern Fire in Walters and a former Kaiser Seahawk in Mason Dennison. The unfortunate side for Dennison and the Seahawks, that was the one game, as this is a slow roller down to third, and John Pardue is the new third baseman, should mention that. And he's not able to make that play. That's going to be an infield single for Jordan Barth, who's got a 2-for-3 day now. Again, Brenton Davis, just like yesterday, subbing in as the new third baseman. That's probably why he was warming up over there in the bullpen area. I mentioned it, him and Ramon Enriquez throwing back and forth. Warming up so they could be ready to go in as a substitute here. Defensive replacement. First pitch, foul ball for Brian Pereira. I started to say it, the unfortunate problem for Mason Dennison in the game where he homered off Logan Walters. They lost 18-1. Yeah, that was one of 4 hits by Kaiser in the game that did not go their way. They won the first 2 games of the series that they played at Kaiser in West Palm Beach, Florida. They beat Southeastern, which is pretty cool to say you beat the eventual national champs twice. 7-4 and 14-11. This one's going to be foul. Just misses a couple of the bullpen players. Count will stay 0-2 for Logan Walters. It was a 7-inning mercy rule victory as Walters picked up the win. Pitching 5 innings. Getting 7 strikeouts against those Kaiser Seahawks. Ben McConnell was already graduated, so he did not see him this season. But just something to keep an eye on as Dennison is warming up on deck. Clearly a rivalry there of some sort. Maybe a friendly rivalry, you never know. Payback was gotten after the 2 regular season losses by Southeastern against Kaiser in the Sun Conference tournament when Kaiser lost a 19-5 to Southeastern. 0-2 pitch misses high. Count is 1-2. It's 2-1 in the top of the 7th inning here. The Glacier Range Riders lead the Billings, or they trail the Billings Mustangs 2-1. 1 runner on, no outs here in the top of the 7th inning for Logan Walters versus Brian Pereira. Swung on, carrying out to right field. Linscott staggers and finds it. I think he was trying to stunt the runner, Barth, saying that he was losing it in the light because he put his hands up briefly to the sides, even though he knew he was in the right position to be able to grab that one. But Barth not fooled, and now we have our Sun Conference Tournament matchup. Maybe we don't, as this looks like it's not Dennison stepping in. This is the first baseman. Never mind. Other infielder, Jordan Hovey. The back of the jerseys are to the other press box where the PA announcer is seated, and I'm just going to take his word for it that Jordan Hovey is the man stepping in. We'll see if he stays in the game or if it's Dennison that goes back to short, because that is a rule allowed here in the Pioneer League. Runner thought about going, but will go back, and a swing and a miss there. Jordan Hovey being the pinch hitter here, .295 batting average for Hovey, 4 home runs and 20 ribbies. 0-1 is the count. So I spent half this inning talking about how Mason Dennison homered off of Logan Walters, and Jim Riggleman clearly not plugged into my broadcast here. and he pulls his shortstop in this late game scenario. Looking for some insurance. Last night, they had the exact same situation. They were looking for insurance, and they could not get it, and it was in the bottom of the 6th, so earlier in the game than we are now, but that is when the 2-run home run by Dean Miller changed the entire complexity of the game, put it 2-0 to 2-2, and from there, Dean Miller won the game with a home run in the bottom of the 8th. This one hit over to second. The field by Cash, and the throw to first is not in time. Just goes down as a 4-6 fielder's choice. It's a tough play to make from second base there because you're moving to your left. You got to flip your hips and throw to second to put a good, hard, accurate throw on target. And that takes more time than you're expecting. And if you got a guy like Hovey that can move down the line, he's able to get there and beat out a potential double play to end the inning. And it's very important because he lends way to Jalen Garcia stepping up. Garcia is 2 for 3 today. He's got a single and a triple, half the way to a cycle. And one of the hardest ones to get is already checked off the box. First pitch swinging, foul ball by Garcia. Defending Rookie of the Year, mentioned that plenty, the Montana native from Billings, Montana. He was a football and basketball player as well as a baseball player. Well, Billings Christian, no school in Montana when he was going to high school, sponsored high school baseball. So he played for the American Legion team in Billings. But he played football and basketball for Billings Christian. He had 11 athletic letters over his high school career. Took his talents to MSUB after he spent a year at NAIA Corbin University. Had a great season there, but just decided he wanted to come home and play for the Yellow Jackets in his hometown and made the same decision for pro ball. Had a 19-game hitting streak last year, 390 and 15 home runs over the final 42 games. Finished the season. Second half was his bread and butter. That one is going to be a wild pitch as it hit the dirt, and then Mazzone lost it. But because it hit the dirt, it goes down as a wild pitch. Walters allows the runner Hovey to get to second. 2-1, 2 outs, and Hovey beating out a potential double play. Could it prove to be a difference maker? Jalen Garcia, carrying over from last season, had a 14-game hitting streak. He carried into June 8th of this year. Also on June 8th was snapped a 49-game on base streak. And now with first base open, Logan Walters kind of doing a smart thing here and not giving Jalen Garcia anything that he can hit. 25 years old. He'll turn 26 in less than a month on August 3rd. 6 foot, 195 pounds. Garcia prepares to see a hitter's count at 3-1. Swings on it. Back to Walters. He'll field, he'll throw, and it is on target and in time. It beats out Jalen Garcia, who is unhappy with himself after not being able to get solid contact on that at-bat with a runner in scoring position. Logan Walters fires a 0. It's still a 1-run game. We head to the bottom of the 7th. Livingston Morris, the man stepping up, 0 for 2 tonight. Kelvin Pilot back out for his 7th inning of work. First pitch swinging for Morris. He is behind 0-1 now. Scott Gladstone here bringing you Game 3 of a 7-game series between the Glacier Range Riders and the Billings Mustangs. They play every night this week, except for Sunday, where they'll take each other on at 3:05 here at Flathead Field. You can get all your tickets online. Go to GoRangeRiders.com. GoRangeRiders.com. Screwed that up a little bit. 1-1 now is the count to Livingston Morris. 73 degrees and sunny right now here in the Flathead Valley. Another foul ball. It's going to be looping to Souvenir Land. That's the great thing about baseball. The fans truly feel a part of it because every once in a while they get to test their talents out, see how hard it is to locate and track down a foul ball. Even if you have a glove out, it can be tricky. I want to miss off the plate. Counts now 2-2. Morris, Georgia Gwinnett College graduate. Woodstock, Georgia is his hometown. Rookie season as a professional. Sees that one go low, and it's full for Livy Morris. Justin Mazzone is on deck. We'll see if Brenton Davis is in the hole. I don't know if I said Brenton Davis was the new third baseman or John Pardue. It was Davis. That one up and in. Livingston Morris limbos out of the way of it, and he will get a scamper on down to first base. Brenton Davis is the man on deck now. The man coming to the plate is Justin Mazzone. He will be the first batter to see a new pitcher. We're going to take a quick break to see who the new pitcher is and allow them their warm-ups. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Livingston Morris on first. No outs. Bottom of the 7th. 2-1. Billings leads. We got a new pitcher coming in for the Mustangs. The new pitcher is Foster Pace. You want to know a little bit more about Foster Pace, I'm assuming. He's a 5'10", 167, really accurate count there, pound right-hander. He's 25 years old from Flower Mound, Texas. And after he throws pitch one to Justin Mazzone, I'll tell you even more about him. First pitch is a strike there from Foster Pace. On the season, he has had successful outings, and he struggled just like a lot of relief pitchers. 0-1 pitch coming in. Nope, it'll be a pickoff attempt over to Libby Morris. He slides back in successfully. But he has really been one of the quality pitchers coming out of the pen for the Billings Mustangs. This is his 14th appearance. 2.55 ERA, which is third on the team. And a 3-2 record. Foul ball slots it right into the media kind of bullpen area there. Luckily, no photographers are in there. They would have got themselves a souvenir. Foul ball makes it 0-2 for Justin Mazzone, who is 0 for 2 today. Foster Pace is a former pitcher in Colorado Springs, but not the Rocky Mountain Vibes, which are in the Pioneer League. He pitched for the Snow Sox. That one is swung on and wait. Wait a minute. I thought that was swung on and gloved by the catcher, but I guess it just escaped the catcher. Call it a foul ball. Count stays 0-2. Check swing. Said he went, says the home plate umpire. So whatever that last pitch was does not matter. Maybe time was called right before. Brenton Davis now, after coming on as a defensive substitute in the last half inning, he'll come in and try and come up with a huge first at-bat here. Batting in the left-handed batter's box, taking on Foster Pace. The last time the Mustangs put out Foster Pace, it was on the 10th of July, just 3 days ago. He picked up the win in 3 innings pitched, allowed 6 hits, but it was a bend-don't-break mentality for him. Just 1 earned run against him, 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. Not a big customer, and I've talked about it with undersized pitchers for Glacier. Pitching is a position where everybody just gravitates towards size, and Foster Pace clearly being able to outwork some of the knocks on him because of his size. Incredibly successful year last year with the Snow Sox, who were an expansion team in the Pecos League. 7-1 record for him. 1-0. Swung on a high fly ball down the left field line. Tracking over is the left fielder. He'll camp right at the line, and Nagel will make the catch for out number 2. This game, just a 1-run game, and it's tantalizingly close for the Glacier Range Riders. And all of the past couple innings, they've been able to get runners on. They just have not been able to find that extra juice to get a runner over the plate other than Brian Williams. Brant Broussard, let's see if he can spark plug it up. 0 for 2 today is Broussard. He reached on a fielder's choice and stole second. He was left stranded there, however. Got Libby Morris on first, who reached this inning with a leadoff walk. First pitch swinging, foul ball up, and call it a souvenir. Oh and 1 now is the count. This has been the game where every time I've said what the count was, I have questioned myself. It is a shared blame situation. Me, the umpires, everybody in between. Swings on that one, up the middle. Right there to make the play on it is the second baseman, Klein. He flips to Hovey for out. Actually, Dennison back in at short, so he flipped to Dennison for out number 3. Still a one-run ball game. Glacier Range Riders trail. We head to the 8th. Logan Walters comes on yet again, his third inning of work. And he'll see 2, 3, 4 as he got Jalen Garcia to ground out 1-3 to end the last inning. Cruz Taylor's 0 for 1. He does have 2 walks today. Struck out looking in the other at-bat. First pitch is in the zone to Cruz Taylor. Count is 0-1. Taylor finished up a 5-year career at the University of North Georgia, which is located in Talladega, Georgia. Foul ball. I'm going to guess on that one. You learn the pronunciation of all these guys. That is something that is definite. You have to do that. Not every time do we learn the hometowns, and you have learned that from me if you've been around long enough. Every once in a while you get to a hometown where you go, oh, I don't know. This one's lifted out to right center field. It'll be Ben McConnell coming in and trotting under it, catching it for out number 1 in the top of the 8th. The 2 early runs got across. The first inning, 1 run was scored for Billings. The second inning, 1 run was scored for Billings. In the third inning, the Range Riders answered with 1 run, and since then, it has been Goose Egg City. No runs scored since the bottom of the third inning. 4 hits total today by Billings, 3 hits by the Range Riders, 2 errors by Billings. 1 an E1, and the other one an E6. Ball to start off the at-bat to Jacob Klein, who is batting in the 3 spot there. Strike there makes it 1-1. Jim Riggleman put him in the 3 spot because of his .427 batting average. But maybe he's more comfortable playing where he has been. I actually can pull up the numbers here. As Klein most commonly has batted in the 6th spot. Swing and a miss. Jalen Garcia, this is just the second time he's led off in the lineup. But the 3-hole has been his. 31 starts at the number 3 spot as that one misses. Counts 3-2 now. Full for Jacob Klein. He tries to reach. 31 times. The next closest is Jackson Raper, who's had 5 appearances in the 3-hole. And Jacob Klein comes in third, with this being his 4th. Hit back to the pitcher, fielded by Walters. Flips to first for out number 2 here in the top of the 8th. Good reaction from Walters, and then checks down to make sure that that ball was in his glove and that it wasn't stuck in there. You've seen a couple times when pitchers have got one rifled back at them and it's got stuck in their glove because it was just so fast, got caught in the webbing. and then they have to throw their entire glove over to first. Not the case there. Walter's able to pick it out of his glove and flip it to Brody Wofford, and now a heavy shift on for Jackson Raper. Swing and a miss on the first pitch. Grounded into a double play to start this contest. He does have a walk as well as a pop out over to third base. Foul ball. 0-2 now, 2 outs. Jackson Raper playing in the 4 spot in the lineup, and that is where he has been most commonly, 22 times this year. He's bat in the cleanup spot, 0-2. Swung on, slow grounder over to third. It will be the third baseman charging and firing it. Brenton Davis cannot get it there in time, but I think that's going to go down as an infield hit. They had the shift on for Jackson Raper, I mentioned, and he just beat that one out as Brenton Davis had to come all the way from not essentially playing right in the middle of the 5-6 hole there. If he was playing in a more typical third base position, probably have a better chance at it, but that is why players, in my opinion, should get really good at being able to strategically place their balls. And, that's the best opponent to a shift. Just hit it where they don't shift. Easier said than done. 0-1, 2 outs, runner on first. That one will miss. 1-1, 2 outs. Now with Raper on first. Raper not much of a threat to steal, as he has not attempted a steal this year. Swing and a miss. It was the bottom of the 8th inning last night where the Glacier Range Riders took the lead for good. Due up in the bottom of the 8th tonight. 1, 2, 3. Ben McConnell, Ryan Cash, and Sam Linscott. That means at least by the bottom of the ninth, we're guaranteed to see a couple heroes, as Mazzone walked halfway to the dugout before it was confirmed that the home plate umpire said that was ball 2. 2-2, 2 outs. Runner on first is Jackson Raper. The runner at the plate is number 22. With the batter at the plate, number 22, Gabe Wirtz. 0 for 3 tonight, trying to come through with a big one here. Logan Walters sets fire. Swung on. It is a high fly ball. Charging in is Dean Miller. But it'll be Ben McConnell that'll run over and get there in time to make the play. Man, can that kid move. We will be right back. It's 2-1. We head to the bottom of the 8th. We're in the top of the 8th. Correct myself already. We're here in the bottom of the 8th. It's Ben McConnell to lead off. First pitch swinging, and it's going to be a high fly ball, but not enough on it. Coming in is Cruz Taylor, who camps under it, makes the grab. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. McConnell goes down, and now Ryan Cash steps up. Right now it's 9:26 local time. We're just getting close to 2.5 hours of game time. In this game, since the scoring stopped, it has soared by. Foster Pace, I'm sure, appreciates the pace in which we're playing. First pitch misses low, counts 1-0. Crowd's starting to feel it now. They know that time is running out. The greatest thing about baseball, there is no way to kneel down the clock. There's no way to dribble the ball to the corner of the court and run out the clock. You have to get 5 more outs if you're Billings, and you have to do it without allowing a run. This one is blooped up. No chance for Jackson Raper to make a play there. Foul ball. Now 1-1 for Ryan Cash. Cash, an uncharacteristic 0 day for him. Strikeout, fly out, ground out, the hat trick of outs. One. Linscott on deck. Brody Wofford in the hole. Late swinging there. Again floated foul. 1-2. These two teams have played 10 times. 7 of them have been won by the Billings Mustangs. The only other South Division team the Billings has beaten is Great Falls, who they've played just 3 times and won 2 out of 3 of those contests. They have not beaten Missoula. They're 0-8, and they're yet to play Idaho Falls. Delayed swing there, a slow dribbler over to Jackson Raper, who will not make the throw. It was another slow roller. He had to come to an awkward position, and that should also be a hit. Cash will reach, and focusing in on the scoreboard right now, and I think maybe that was actually scored as an error. Whatever it was, puts the tying run aboard. First pitch to Sam Linscott, misses. Count goes 1-0. 1-0, 1 out. Runner on first is Ryan Cash. He can move. Sam Linscott at the plate. Also has some sizzling speed. But he'll just watch that one go by. Count goes to 2-0. Jim Riggleman putting on the pitcher he has on his roster with the 3rd lowest ERA. Trying to close this game out. We'll see if he brings Foster Pace back in the bottom of the 9th, if we need the bottom of the 9th. Sam Linscott really cranked his body around on that one. Not able to make contact. Count goes to 2-1. One out, runner on first is Ryan Cash. Swung on, base hit. It's going to get down, and Cash is going to turn and go to third. He will be into third, standing up. Sam Linscott, a single, puts a tying run 90 feet away. Brody Wofford now coming up to the plate. He had a sacrifice fly 2 nights ago, and with Cash at third, that would get the job done. Jim Riggleman's going to come out. He's going to glance over at the pen while he's walking out. And he makes the sign. Foster Pace's outing is done. We're getting a new pitcher coming in. Don't go anywhere. Pressure mounting in the 406. First pitch back to Al Pesto is a high fly ball from Brody Wofford. There will be no play at the plate. I said a sacrifice fly would get the job done, and that's exactly what Brody Wofford does. A sacrifice fly is across, and we are tied in the bottom of the 8th. Al Pesto, the new pitcher, didn't even get a chance to talk about him. Was discussing actually with our official score that play a few plays ago with Ryan Cash reaching. Initially, Brittany, our official scorer, called it an error. I think she might be changing it to a hit now, as it would have been fairly extraordinary effort from Jackson Raper to make that play. I'll wait for official word from her before I tell you it's official. But like I said, my gut instinct was it was a hit by Ryan Cash. And it does matter because it will go down as an earned run or not for Foster Pace because of it. Bottom line, it's a tie game. It's 2-2 now in the bottom of the 8th after the sacrifice fly from Brody Wofford. Lynn Scott stayed at first on it. And now Dean Miller up at the plate, preparing to see the first pitch. And it'll miss. They do not want to give Dean Miller anything to hit here in the bottom of the 8th. One day ago, Dean Miller went yard to essentially win the game for the Glacier Range Riders with a home run. That was a solo shot. And here it would be a 2-run blast and give a little more comfort to the Glacier Range Riders. The throw over to first, pickoff attempt. Just keeping Linscott honest. Don't want to push him into scoring position because he's got enough wheels that a Dean Miller base hit would get him home. Problem is Dean Miller, the speed in which he hits the ball might backfire on him, honestly. Swing and a miss there. If he lasers a base hit out to an outfielder, might get out there so quick that they can throw it in a little bit quicker. But Linscott's still at first, so we won't even think about that right now. 1-1 now is the count. 2 outs. Linscott on first. It's a 2-2 ball game here at Flathead Field. Glacier trying to take a 3-0 series lead in this 7-game stretch between the Mustangs and the Range Riders. They've been trailing this entire contest with 1 run coming across in the top of the first inning after Jalen Garcia led off the game with a triple and was brought home on an RBI groundout. 1-1 is the count to Dean Miller. This is just going to be a high fly ball. And in shallow left field, coming in and making the play is Nagel for out number 3. Last night, the matchup between Pesto and Miller went Miller's way, but this night, Pesto able to get the best of him. However, the sacrifice fly comes across. It is a run scored by the Glacier Range Riders to tie this game at 2 apiece. The last hacks for the Billings Mustangs will be Nagel, Barth, and Pereira in the top of the 9th. Don't go anywhere. It's 2-2. We have 1 inning to play. It's a tie ball game here in the top of the 9th. And we have a new pitcher, 6'9", Austin Steinfort, stepping on the bump. The former York Revolution pitcher who took his talents to the Pioneer League this year, Holland, Michigan native, by way of Rochester College slash University. They had a transition recently, figured that out last night. I was pondering on the broadcast if they were Rochester College or Rochester University. Turns out they've been both recently, but they are now Rochester University, and that is where Austin Steinfort played his baseball at school. And right now he's in the Flathead Valley trying to put himself in position to possibly get the win here. First pitch comes in, and a swing and a miss from Aiden Nagel. Nagel is 0 for 3 today. Trying to avoid the golden sombrero right now as he has 3 Ks. Just wants to push the ball in play and force the defense to do something. Misses high, counts 1-1. Austin Steinfort this season for the Glacier Range Riders, 6.52 ERA. This is his 20th appearance. He's been a workhorse, 2 saves for him. and 16 strikeouts to 10 walks. Check swing. Does not go, says the third base ump. I thought that one was close to the zone. I thought it might have just gone by way of a strike looking rather than the swing of Nago mattering. But after the appeal, count goes 2-1. No outs, bases empty, tie game, top of the ninth. That one will miss, now 3-1. Steinfort in danger of putting the leadoff runner aboard. That is what happened last night. Justin Coleman came on for the save, and Coleman allowed the leadoff runner to get on with a base hit, but he was stranded at first after three straight strikeouts looking to end the top of the ninth and clinch the save for Coleman. Steinfort fires, swing and a miss. We go full. Jordan Barth and Brian Pereira also due up this inning. The bottom of the lineup, 6, 7, and 8. 3-2, swung on to second. Cash fields, he gets up, he throws, and what a play! Ryan Cash, give me that money. He goes down, a 4-3 ground out for out number 1 in the top of the ninth. Outstanding effort from Ryan Cash. A lot of times you see players kind of half-heartedly dive at a play like that where the ball is so far to one side of their body. But Cash knows in this situation, at least find a way to knock it down. He did more than that. Gloved it, got up, fired, on target and in time for out 1, and a swing and a miss there. Puts Barth behind 0-1. Missing, count goes to 1-1 now. Jordan Barth, you've seen his skills already today. A home run over the left field wall, and he also had one that got all the way to the warning track back there. A lot of pop in his bat, and Austin Steinfort now will pitch the 1-1 to him. Swing and a miss, and down to a knee is Jordan Barth. Coming up empty, and now behind in the count to Austin Steinfort. Because of the alacrity of this game, a lot of the fans still sticking around. Foul ball there. Not past the 10 o'clock hour. They are, I'm sure, not going to leave this contest until all is said and done. 1 out, nobody on. 1-2 is the count. Here in the top of the ninth, a 2-2 contest between Billings and Glacier. Glacier goes for their 3rd straight win, all in front of the home faithful. Swung on, and that's going to beat the shift. A late swing there, but it worked out perfectly. Would have been a 4-3 ground out if the defense was in their regular spots. But Barth is just fine with that. Go-ahead run now aboard. Brian Pereira stepping up. Pereira, the only time he's reached, it was because of that. Was it a walk? Wasn't it a walk? Okay, fine. It's definitely a walk. That led off his game, his first at-bat. That's when that happened. Plate appearance, I guess, technically. First pitch will miss up and away. Count is 1-0. Dennison, if we don't get a double play, will be up. And actually, it will not be Dennison. We see number 53, Bryce Jackson, in the on-deck circle, ready to pinch hit. Swung on over to first, and it's, oh my word! Oh my word! Wofford Fields, he throws to short. Broussard throws to Steinfort covering. It's a 3-6-1 double play. We will see no pinch hitter for the Billings Mustangs. We will only see a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the ninth for the Glacier Range Riders. Wow! Brody Wofford started that with a great flip of the hips, throw to second, right on target. Broussard put money to Steinfort covering. We'll be right back. Bottom of the ninth, 2-2. Don't go anywhere. We are back here. It is time for an exciting finish. Scott Gladstone so excited to be bringing you the final half inning of this game, as well as a potential knockout round. Don't go anywhere if there is no scoring here, because we will find a way to wrap it up. That is the fun in the Pioneer League, and a man that can wrap it up with one swing of the bat. He's done it before, and the crowd knows it. When Livingston Morris's name is announced on the PA, whenever he comes up to bat, there's a little bit extra sugar on the ovation. In the bottom of the ninth, Livingston Morris will be going for nothing short of the fences. Thought about going, did not go, and it's a ball. He is the winning run at the plate. One run comes across for Glacier, and that is all they need. Justin Mazzone on deck. He's guaranteed to see the plate as that one is swung on, carrying to the gap, but Jalen Garcia will watch it drop. Now going to second is Livingston Morris. He's safe at second. A heads-up play by Livingston Morris as Jalen Garcia let that one drop, and Livingston Morris is into second with a double. Another notch in the belt of Livy as he is, man, he's a folk hero in these parts. A double, a bloop double into center field. Livingston Morris said, "You want to test me? You can test me." Pinch hitter coming in now to the contest. Pinch runner, excuse me. It will be Justin Mazzone stepping up with a chance to win this ball game. The pinch runner is Pardue. John Pardue, Columbus State University alum, Decatur, Georgia native. And it'll be an intentional walk of Justin Mazzone. All sorts of stuff happening now. I'm barely able to keep track. Jim Riggleman will look over to the pen as he walks out, but there is nobody warming in the pen. This is Al Pesto's game to win or lose. The entire infield coming in, and everybody on the base paths having a conversation. You see the pinch runner Pardue, the man at first Mazzone, who really doesn't matter except for the sense that he is a force out. And that's the reason why they put him on first. First of all, he's got a good bat, and he can get thrown out. He forces a force out at third. And the man coming to the plate with a chance to win it now is Brenton Davis. Davis has had one at-bat after coming on as a defensive substitute. Started this season with the Missoula Paddleheads after graduating from Bellevue. This is his rookie season, and oh, what a moment it would be for Davis. Finding a way to be a part of this Glacier Range Rider squad any way that it is asked of him. Nick Hogan said, "Can you go out there and play third base?" He said, "Give me a crack at third base." That's what he's done to finish the last two games. He's done it successfully defensively. But now, Nick Hogan asking for something at the plate. First pitch coming as he squares to bunt, and he pulls it back. It's a ball outside. That seems to be the strategy right now. Get these runners to second and third. You've got no outs. So if you're able to drop down a successful sacrifice bunt, that does the tricks. The corners are pinched in. First baseman Barth is above the bag, and third baseman Jackson Raper is even with the bag, knowing that he might need to cover third. Again, squaring a bunt, dropping it down. It's a great bunt down the third baseline. Raper will not throw. Jackson Raper will not throw to third. The bases will be loaded with no outs. It's a sacrifice bunt turned bunt for hit. Brenton Davis does it to perfection. And Brant Broussard, the spark plug, has a chance to win it. Ryan Cash will run out and be the bat boy. As I think Cash, with his baseball IQ, he saw the bat boy wasn't coming out to get that, and he knew, let's keep it on this pitcher right now. Let's not give him a chance to breathe. And now a force out at home. The entire infield is pinched in. A bunt for a hit loads the bases with no outs. One run wins it. Brant Broussard at the plate. First pitch misses low. Count goes to 1-0. The Glacier Range Riders have never had a true 9-inning walk-off victory. Their only quote-unquote walk-off victory was in the knockout round when Livingston Morris beat the Billings Mustangs on June 15th. Al Pesto has a 1-0 count to Brant Broussard. Swings and fouls it off. Count goes now to 1-1. Broussard on the day, I keep on saying how much of a spark plug he has, but he hasn't come up with that hit. And this could be his moment. 1-1 coming in to Brant Broussard. It finds the zone. Count goes to 1-2. On deck is Ben McConnell. Ryan Cash is in the hole. Ryan Cash scored the run that tied this ball game on a sacrifice fly from Brody Wofford in the last inning. 1-2 now to Brant Broussard. No outs, put it in play, and you give your team a chance. The entire infield is pinched in. They got to make a play at the plate. Swung on to third, bobbled by Raper. It's going to be a game winner. Call it an error by Jackson Raper. Call it a hit. I don't care. It is the ball game. All Brant Broussard needed to do was put that into play, and he did it. And the scoring decision doesn't really matter. The game decision is a win for the Glacier Range Riders. Walk it off on a Wednesday night here in the Flathead Valley. That one had enough mustard on the contact. He put it to Jackson Raper. Raper knew that he needed to pick it up and fire it home quickly for the force. And just too much pressure put on himself. Whether it's an error or whatever, maybe they call it a fielder's choice because he was thinking, I think it's going to go down as an error, but it will be an RBI for Brant Broussard. He wins the game. Wow. Wow. A standing ovation from this crowd at Flathead Field. What a 9-inning performance from the Glacier Range Riders. It started with the defensive side, just getting the job done, finding a double play here, a double play there. They finished it off with a beautiful double play of the 3-6-1 variety. That's so difficult for a pitcher to cover first base. Steinfort said, let's get it done. And Brant Broussard at some point got his jersey ripped off there. And just, what a play. Be sure to stick in, or be sure to tune in to the Glacier Range Riders social media. We got my man down there on the field, Brooks Krause, the assistant clubby that hooked us up, just received the walk-off video from field level. So be sure to check that out from field level. Oh, my word. I hope you all had fun. If you are a Glacier Range Riders fan, if you're a Billings Mustangs fan, what a heartbreaker. Leading this entire game for 8.5 innings, and they come up just a little bit short after Al Pesto. Man, he has been put in some difficult situations the past couple nights, and nothing on him, just extraordinary efforts by the Glacier Range Riders defense, or by the Glacier Range Riders offense, as well as the defense. They've been playing great too and have not made his job any easier. What a contest here at Flathead Field. The walk-off error. John Pardue scores the run. And let me double check real quick, but lost in all the mayhem for John Pardue. That's his first professional run scored. And that's a pretty nice way to start your professional career. Clearly Nick Hogan trusts his speed, trusts his base running ability. Put him on second there after the Livy Morris double, which when you go back to the start of this inning, that was such a smart heads-up play by Livingston Morris. And I mean, you just can't say enough about the all phases of the game effort to give the Glacier Range Riders the victory here tonight. Real quick, I'm going to take a couple breaths. I'm going to tell you some things. The winning pitcher tonight, Austin Steinfort, coming on, throwing a blank in the top of the first, but you cannot knock the performance. Austin Edwards starting this one off. He allowed 2 runs in the first 2 innings, but cruised through to really look solid in his final 3 innings. Gave a performance that maybe was worthy of a win. The offense just wasn't there yet. Logan Walters, he put in three innings of work, only got 1 strikeout, but didn't allow a run. And then Austin Steinfort gets the job done, finishes off the 3-6-1 double play, and gets that 1-inning victory the second night in a row. He got the victory last night as well. The loss is Al Pesto's. Only 2/3 of an innings pitched, as he was not able to get an out in the bottom of the ninth. He did not get a strikeout, and he had a walk to his name as well. That does it for me here from Flathead Field. Fans, if you're in the area, come out. These 2 teams have been playing great baseball. It's incredibly exciting. And, it's been some good contests, beautiful baseball. We've seen home runs. Each night we've seen at least 1 home run. And a walk-off tonight, the first true walk-off in Glacier Range Riders history. I'm going to head down to the field, get an interview with Brant Broussard. You can check that out on social media. And for now, this is Scott Gladstone. The Glacier Range Riders win 3-2 on a walk-off error by the Billings Mustangs. Brant Broussard forced it. Pardue scores to win it. My name's Scott Gladstone. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Please have a great rest of your night and stay safe out there.